we launch the Ppda regulations for 2023. Once again, it's a delight to welcome each and every one of you as we get our program started, and welcoming our audience joining us live on UBC Television and NBS TV here at the Hotel Africana.
Public sector procurement, as you all know, is a significant component of public expenditure management, which contributes to effective service delivery, good governance, and sustainable development in all economies. It's a crucial function in public financial management as it seeks to create value for money in the acquisition and disposal of public assets. Honorable Minister, you called yesterday we were in Parliament discussing issues of the National Budget Framework paper. And one of the issues that came out strongly are issues of procurement. And I think the assurance you gave to the Budget Committee is that we are reforming and we are progressing in this area. And we are very delighted that we are here launching one of the key reforms in the procurement. Our guests of honor and distinguished guests, this launch today is in fulfillment of Pillar number 3 of the National Public Sector Procurement Policy, which yourself, the Honourable Minister, you launched in 2019. And this seeks to suitable and comprehensive legal and regulatory frameworks that improve, that promote improved service delivery. In this regard, the preparations and development of the regulations, which Honourable Minister you are launching today, started in 2021, following the commencement of the Ppda Amendment Act 2021. So this process started in July, following the Ppda amendment. Honourable Minister, these regulations have been developed through a consultative process. They are not an instrument for Ppda. This is not an instrument for Ministry of Finance. It's our document. All of us who are here. So it has involved a consultative process involving central and local government entities, the procurement practitioners who are well represented here, since civil society here, oversight institutions, our development partners, and other key stakeholders, including the various MDAs. A technical working group headed by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development was formed, with the key membership comprising of staff of the authority, that's Ppda, the Minister of Local Government, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, and practitioners from various central and local government entities. I know, Honourable Minister, you have always challenged us that we don't need to work in silos. That's the very essence that why we have transitioned from the sector-wide approach, the program-wide approach of planning and budgeting. And indeed, we have worked as government in developing these regulations. I'm sure probably some of us could be asking, but what is in there? What are the changes? The Executive Director of Ppda, who is here, shall highlight to you the salient provisions of the amended regulations. And I would like to urge all accounting officers and procurement practitioners to embrace these new reforms. We are confident that these will address some of the challenges we outline public sector procurement. Of course, quite often we also challenge that we do things in Kampala, we do things in our states, and we not bring the implementers on board. I want to inform you, Honorable Minister, and our dear participants here, that we have a program, a very comprehensive program. So a nationwide change management dissemination program shall commence next week, and all accounting officers, contract committee members, members of the user departments, and the procurement and disposal units, I want to urge you to be part of this journey. As our own Ministry of Finance, Ppda, we want to provide oversight, and the people who are supposed to ensure that there is compliance with these regulations. I would also like to say that these documents are living documents. There's no doubt that we shall encounter challenges along the way, but we want to request you to work with us to ensure that these issues are addressed as we implement these regulations. The printed regulations are available at UPPC. You are free to purchase as many copies as you wish. However, the good news is that we have 9 sets of regulations, and we shall ensure that whoever is represented here, or institutions represented here, you move out with a copy of each of these regulations. Lastly, as I conclude, I would like to once again thank you, Honorable Minister, for being part of this journey all through. Before you joined the ministry, you have always supported the procurement function.
I'm going to give highlights of the Ppda regulations, the subject that has brought us here today. And these highlights will essentially focus the introduction and the background, which will talk briefly about the amendment of the Ppda Act of 2021. It will also cover the objectives for the amendments to the Ppda Regulations 2023. It will highlight the set of Ppda regulations and also give you the key highlights of these regulations. The Ppda Act came into force on 21st February 2003. That was part of the public finance management reforms, and this act, all those reforms actually decentralized public procurement, MDEs, MDS, and local government. Before, there was central tender board, police tender board, army tender board. So this act decentralized public procurement. This act has gone through amendments in 2011. It was amended and effected 2014. And the most recent amendment was 2021, what Accountant General Stephen talked about. The areas of the amendment in that Act of 2021 were mainly focus reduction of actors in the administrative review process. If you recall, those who are using it, Ppda as an authority is no longer in the administrative review. It is only accounting officer and the Ppda tribunal. 2-tier instead of 3-tier. There was provision for special interest groups and reservation schemes. That is section 59, provided for that. There is also incorporation of sustainable public procurement. It also provided for electronic transactions. That's what provided for EGP, what use electronic means of procurement transactions. But also the Act amended the KCCA and the local government Act in regard to procurement and disposal. Honorable Minister, now Ojambo talked about the journey today after the amendment of the Act, and these regulations, the regulations we are launching today is focusing on the following objectives. One, harmonize the Ppda regulations, both for central government and local government PDEs, and we shall use one. That is very, very important, because we have been running two parallel regulations, those governing procurements in central government entities and those guiding procurements in local government entities. They want at this juncture to register my appreciation to the Minister of Local Government who didn't disturb us, because there was like some resistance initially, but eventually he said no, it's okay, and he issued an instrument of revocation of the Ppda Local Government Regulations 2006. These regulations are also to operationalize the provisions of the Ppda Amendment Act 2021. There has been a lot of inquiries, which regulations are we using? Of course, we have been using 2014, but starting 5th of February, these regulations will be enforced. More important, they are to create efficiency in the procurement process through reduction of procurement lead times. This is what we have been struggling with. Lead times when we start a procurement and when we contract. Clear statutory timelines have been put at different levels. The fourth one is promote the use of procurement as a socio-economic tool, e.g. sustainable procurement. And this is where all our instruments, procurement instruments, are providing for sustainable public procurement. Lastly, simplify procurement and reduce the cost of doing business without compromising quality. Honorable Minister, those are the set of regulations. We have two new ones, maybe for our practitioners. We have come up with a regulation, the Ppda procurement regulations, that will guide how the procurement planning is going to be conducted. There is also a regulation on negotiations, because negotiations were already disturbing, even prohibited before, to negotiate on price. So these regulations are guiding on how you can negotiate with the best evaluated bidder. Those are the only two new ones. The others have been revised. The Ppda procuring and disposing entity regulations, the Ppda rules and methods, the procurement of consultant services, the disposal, administrative review, and the contract regulation.
I would like to start by expressing appreciation to all the stakeholders who have contributed to the development of these regulations. These regulations, as they have been presented by the ED, they are marking a crucial milestone in the ongoing efforts to ensure that we reform our public sector to enhance transparency, accountability, as well as efficiency to the public procurement and disposal processes. As we all know, effective regulation of anything, let alone procurement, is a cornerstone for the robust system we want to put in place. And It's not about just putting together a list of rules called regulations and guidelines, but it is mainly the adherence to these regulations which is so critical. The adherence to them. We are not here to just fulfill a bureaucratic formality. But now we have a list of rules and people tick boxes. Fold this one, I fold the other one, I'm compliant. No. But please think about the collective responsibility which we must play together so that we can be successful in implementing these regulations for purposes of ensuring that we procure and dispose in a manner that is going to bring value to the people of Uganda. So we need to instill confidence in our public that their hard-earned money, which they entrust with us as public sector, is utilized efficiently and effectively, and is value for money. They are results which are equal to the money that we have spent. When I was in Parliament yesterday to defend the budget framework paper with the Honorable, led by the Honorable Minister, our members of Parliament sitting on the budget committee asked me personally as Secretary of Treasury to ensure that we actually also review the wastage that happens through procurement. They said you have tried to improve the budget, to rationalize the budget, to ensure that money is spent on priorities. But even those which we deem to be priorities, when they go to procure, that's where wastage is. I would like us to really ensure that we stop this wastage. And I hope these regulations, they are one other step in that direction. We need to prioritize timely procurement without compromising on the quality and fiscal responsibility. The timeliness of the procurement. By reducing lead times, by procuring directly from manufacturers where possible, reduce these middlemen, so many middlemen in the chain. And the President was clear with this, please, for those who procure, especially equipment, you're going to procure some road making, this road construction equipment. I see my senior is around. I always tell you, the President directed. He was actually saying, I'm going to put it in writing. He was going to write what we call executive order. I said, Your Excellency, we are having regulations we are working on. Let us use them effectively. You know what executive orders are. I don't want us to reach there. So I begged him on your behalf to ensure that we reduce these mistakes we are making. He said, please stop procuring those equipment through middlemen. And I'm very happy that we discussed it with him. And it is part of these regulations. Go direct to the manufacturers. Enhancement of good governance through disclosure of beneficial ownership. The beneficial owner. All of these are very, very important in ensuring timely, but also efficient and effective procurement. So we need to change the face of procurement by doing some of the right things. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development commits to facilitate a countrywide change management dissemination program for these regulations, such that all the stakeholders, including local governments and so on, come on.
I am honored to be here as we mark a significant milestone in our ongoing efforts to enhance governance and foster economic development. Today we gather here to launch the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Regulations 2023, a crucial step forward following the amendment of the Ppda Act in 2021. Let us take a moment to reflect on the journey that has led us to this point. As the Accountant General and the other speakers, Benson and others said, public procurement in Uganda has gone through various reforms from 2003 to date. We have had a number of reforms, both in the law and the regulations. But why we are here now is complete the journey which started in August 2016 during the Cabinet Chankwan's retreat, which resolved to improve service delivery, and in order to achieve this, they decided to amend all the legal frameworks affecting this critical aspect of governance, including the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Act 2023. This commitment stemmed from the collective understanding that reforming these frameworks was imperative for the realization of our national development goals. On the 4th October 2016, the Solicitor General, recognizing the importance of alignment with the Presidential Strategic Guidelines, advised all ministries to study their existing legal frameworks, and this directive set in motion a review of the Ppda Act 2003 in 2021. I am glad that the regulations address the following concerns by His Excellency the President. Number one is the provisions to facilitate the direct procurement of manufacturers of aviation, industrial, agricultural, and the medical equipment, which the PSST was talking about. There will be no more middlemen. If you are procuring equipment and we know where the manufacturer is, we shall now be, these regulations now allow us to go direct to the manufacturer without necessarily having Dr. Kawagambe in the middle, who will at the end of the day put his margin, and as a result, public procurement becomes so bureaucratic and unnecessarily expensive. Another point of concern by His Excellency the President is the use of own resources for public works under forced account mechanism. This one has also been addressed in the regulations, and from now on there is no, you know what, the law, the word, you have your own money, under this arrangement, you will now directly be allowed to execute the work without necessarily going through the bureaucracy we have been going through. Then also, the confidence and the perception which has been built by the public about public procurement, making the cost of executing public works and also causing unnecessary outflows from the budget has been addressed by the number of reforms which both the law and the regulations have put in place. Benson gave us the details. I am also informed that other concerns of the President on the procurement of strategic requirements guiding the distinction between investment and procurements and the issue of payment of commissions in procurement processes are also being handled. The authority has also issued 10 guidelines on various aspects under the Ppda regulations 2023, such as thresholds, bid and performance securities, among others. The permanent secretary, Secretary of the Treasury, has indicated that the provision for reservation schemes to the special interest groups of women, youth, and persons with disabilities, sustainable procurement will contribute to the socio-economic transformation through increase in household income and creation of wealth to the people of Uganda. I urge all procuring and disposal entities and the business community to embrace these regulations and guidelines that have been issued by the Ppda Board of Directors that shall pave the way for a procurement and asset disposal systems that is not only streamlined but also responsive to the needs of our citizens and provide a conducive environment for investment thrive. I have heard you clap when the SSA announced that we will all get copies. Isn't that so? We were all happy. These copies are going to be given to you to read. You must read. Don't receive, don't take them and share them. You read and also refer to them when you are making decisions. I am also going to get my copies and I will read. The same way I have read the Public Finance Management Act and the regulations which support the Act. Because procurement, public finance management generally, the two move together. And especially for the people who are in our local governments, we normally get a problem there. Those people in local government, some of them have gone to sleep. They only wake up when the Auditor General comes and starts speaking false. That's when they say, you see, I didn't know the law. Now we are giving you the copies. Please, all of you, go and read. We are going to disseminate the information across the country. We want all of us to move together in this journey of making public procurement efficient and effective. With these remarks, I now take this singular honor, and by the powers entrusted in me under Section 96 of the Ppda Act 2023 as amended, launch the following Ppda regulations for 2023.